beautifully sunny today here, Matthew. Beautifully. Someone just turned the heat up.
Absolutely gorgeous weather. There's a giant orb in the sky, and I don't know if it's a friend or a photon. I don't know if it's here to kill us with its sunny rays or to warm our souls.
Today, Matthew, it's warming my soul.
Oh.
It's Tom Matt Attack.
Yeah. Tom and Matt Attack weather forecast.
I actually have to say that was one of... I'll let you finish. One of our, sorry, I said most, didn't I? Most poetic introductions.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, it can't be a good sing-song, can it? Let's be honest. But as it stands, of our random-ass introductions as of late, yeah, it's probably...
Well, it's better than last week.
It's not hard, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, how you been? All right?
I'm okay. I'm not too bad. Bought a new chair, which is...
it's a wonderful chair.
Is a very exciting chair. I have no idea what it is. It's mid-century modern Danish design there.
What matters is it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's a comfortable fucking recliner, and it looks really nice.
With a footstool.
Oh, man. I learned yesterday that a footstool, the proper name for a footstool, Thomas, is an ottoman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. I was just like, cool, it flips open.
I thought an ottoman was a half human, half otter hybrid.
Hey, Tom, don't give away the ideas for my next indie jam game. My side-scrolling platformer with my ottoman, it's all ruined now.
Oh.
I'll have to go with Seal Boy, which was my plan B.
I do apologise.
It's okay. Yeah, so I've been generally sitting in that, playing some games over the last 2 days. That's been super nice, and reading some books. It's generally been all good.
It's a chair you can do most anything in.
Exactly. Sleep, as I learned last night when I came home and tried to play a bit of one of the games I've been playing over the weekend. Yeah. I went out, I had a few beverages. I was like, I'm going to sit in my comfortable chair and play some video games. And then I fell asleep because the chair was so comfortable.
What happens? It's dangerous comfortable chairs.
Exactly, man.
They come with a health warning.
This is a public service announcement. Keep your children away from comfortable chairs.
Unless you want them to sleep.
Unless you want them to sleep, yeah. If you are one of those subpar parents who's just like, hey, cool, you've been tiring me out, get in the chair, then a comfortable chair is the way to go. An uncomfortable chair, they'll be jumping up, they won't sit down, they won't sit still.
Exactly. No one likes an uncomfortable chair.
No.
It defies the point.
Exactly. I mean, unless that's what you're going for.
That's what you're going for. Like school.
Like, school, though, defies the point. Surely you'd want children to be comfortable so they would be... maybe they're more astute if they're not comfortable, but it's just going to make kids fidget.
If I remember at school, you didn't even have a little cushion on your seats.
Nope.
It was just hard plastic all the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Little bit like the chairs we're sitting in now with a hole in the back.
You know why I
and
think
it was
that
stackable.
is? Kids wet themselves, don't they?
Well, no, I think it's probably because they're cheap.
Yeah, that and the fact that occasionally it happens.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe you're right. I mean, yeah, there's probably a much larger sizability factor of like, hey, we need to sell these chairs to as many schools as we can, unless as a school district buy 8 billion of these chairs so we have them and ship them to all our schools.
Here's a question.
What?
Do you remember what colour the chairs were at your school?
Depends which school I was in. Primary, they were green. In secondary, they were orange.
Orange. I remember orange of primary.
Yeah.
And grey of high school.
Oh, yeah, shit, we had grey ones as well.
Yeah.
They're probably exactly the same chair. Were they kind of a bit trapezoid at the top? So they started around here, they went up to have a shorter top, and then they had another trapezoid in the back.
I don't recall that. I recall them being rather ergonomic.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean, they were curved. Don't get me wrong. They had
they
lumbar support.
They sunk in.
We're not savages in Wales.
Backside. But we're lucky enough to be sitting on very comfortable plastic chairs today with extra cushion.
Yes. More cushion for the
He's
pushing.
drawing me the chair now.
I'm drawing you the chair, so it goes like this.
Yeah.
And they had a little cutout in the back.
Yeah.
We are thinking of the same
trapezoid. You mean
well,
angular top?
I'm naming the shape what it is, Tom. I'm doing it. So we go and add little legs that came out like this.
I think this
plays beautifully on a podcast.
I think that's the generic. You all know what we're talking about, though.
I think you do if you're British.
If you ever been to school.
Oh well, Tom. There's a thumbnail image for you. A chair. Find one.
Oh gosh!
I'm sure if you googled generic British school chair, you would probably find
I imagine
picture.
this isn't just British. This is probably across the board, no
Maybe.
matter where you're from. I imagine
know.
you were probably sitting on a similar chair. Please let us know if you are from a country outside of the UK and had a different experience with your school chairs. Then please let us know.
Did you sit on wooden stools like we sometimes did in science classes?
Yeah.
Did you sit on a sofa? Were you in a fancy school where they...
You sat on sofas?
I don't know.
I think any school you sit on sofas.
Maybe, Tom. Maybe. You never know. But how have you been?
I don't know now.
You don't know?
I've been fine. I've been having some old school fun with the PS2 and the Wii mostly.
Yeehaw!
I can't say I've played much of the modern consoles, other than on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Me and Gareth, my friend, who I play every week against online. Again, sometimes cooperatively, not always competitively, but we played a bit of Star Wars Battlefront. The least said about that, the better, really, isn't it?
Man.
You know, I spend most of the time, you die, you respawn. You die, you respawn. It's frustrating, isn't it? We had trouble, actually. We wanted to play a Supremacy map. So we jumped in and selected Supremacy. No one else would join. They kept dropping out, and it just wasn't happening. So we went, we'll just go on the best 40-person battle. Yeah. Ended up being Walker Assault, which, I don't know. We nearly got there this time. Nearly got there. Yeah, I mean, we're playing as the rebels, so we have to take down...
I've beaten the walkers sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get those Y-wings to get in there, then you can take them down actually rather quickly. Yeah. Can't you? But Battlefront 2's coming out, isn't it?
It is.
And whether or not I'm sold on the idea, I'm not sure yet. You know, can it be everything Battlefield 1 was not? Because Battlefield 1...
Battlefront 1 is a different game.
Battlefield 1 is...
Battlefield 1 is actually a competent first-person shooter.
That's actually a game, isn't it? Battlefront, the original Battlefront, is a beautiful game. Star Wars Battlefront, this is. Yeah. But, you know, there's something about it, isn't there, Matthew? You'll agree with me. This is a game that... You still own it or not?
I sold it. I got rid of it. I remember my harebrained scheme. I got rid of it because I really wanted to play Overwatch. So I sold Overwatch and...
You sold Overwatch?
No, I sold Battlefront and I sold Rainbow Six Siege because that is, while a very competent game, a game I would need at least like 4 people who also owned it and also wanted to play it consistently to play it with. So I sold both of those. I got Overwatch then for a tenner, and then when my copy of Overwatch arrived, I returned the copy that arrived in the post to GameStop and instead got Doom, which was in itself a rip-roaring good time.
But Battlefront now, you weren't bothered about losing that one.
We played it a couple of weeks. We tried... God knows, Tom, long-term listeners of this podcast will know my frustrations of playing Battlefield 4 for about 3 years because there was fuck all else to play in terms of multiplayer shooters. You could have played
Call of Duty, but were you fed up of it at that point?
I'd played Call of Duty by that point, Tom, for probably over like 400 hours. That game to me was even more frustrating than Battlefront was because Battlefront for me was very bare bones. It didn't necessarily resonate with me. I think there was too much choice in the guns there, and they offered nothing different. Like regardless if I had Boba Fett's rifle or if I had a Stormtrooper like General Blaster, it would feel the same. There would be no difference in my experience. I would generally find that I would get shot. It would generally be whoever shot first would win.
A lot of this just stems from the idea of all the weapons having to be laser weapons, doesn't it?
It does.
That you're not going to be able to have much variation in them. But I think actually you could have more like recoil on a weapon. You know,
of course you could.
You could certainly change these laser-based weapons.
And I mean, you know, it's in contrast then to Call of Duty having 1 million weapons and the clear strategy in Call Duty's business model is you play the fuck out of this game and you unlock a lot of this content.
Oh, Star Wars is frustrating how you have to get to level 40 before you can unlock a different costume.
Yeah.
Well, I say a different costume, a more interesting alternative to the human-based characters which you can play as in the game.
Like a Rhodian.
Yeah, why do you have to get to level 40? I'm level 20 and I've had this game since release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't played as much as most because, you know, I just don't find myself feeling like I want to play it much. It's
Paper
a shame.
thin.
It's a shame because really beautiful game. And actually, I'd love to see a game with these graphics where you could explore a Star Wars game with the graphical fidelity of Battlefront where you could actually spend time and look around you. Because you can't.
No.
It's a shooter, so you've got to spend most of your time concentrating on the action. You can't really appreciate anything around you. You stop for a second, you're dead.
Yeah.
In Battlefront. So yeah, Battlefront. Man, I bought the season pass.
Yeah.
But honestly, I play it online with Gareth, and he didn't buy the season pass. So we don't tend to make much use of this purchase of the season pass unless I wanted to play on my own online with other people, which I don't find myself wanting to do very often. No.
You know what the most beautiful thing about Battlefield 1 is, Tom? They've introduced a new thing now called, I believe it's called, it's essentially like party system. It's another name for that. I can't remember the exact term. But essentially, it means that as long as one of the people in your party has bought the season pass,
everybody
you have access to those maps. You don't gain XP, but I don't care.
No.
I got to play the France
that's nice.
Warzone.
It's going to take a bit of space on your hard drive.
I mean, it's
not good.
No, it's going to install anyways.
Oh yeah, it's got to.
It's got to patch it in just in case I bought it, regardless. So it doesn't really matter.
If that's how that works with Star Wars, though, it probably doesn't install it if you can't.
Maybe
play
not.
It. Something I experienced recently was I borrowed Gears of War 4 from the library.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play it that evening, last Thursday evening, when we ended up playing Battlefront. But of course, 90 gigabyte install.
Cool.
Right? Okay, so it was doing it forever. Got to the point where we were going to play it. Still not installed. It says ready to play. Ready to play. Great. You could watch the credits. You go into the menu and watch the credits. It said ready to play.
Cool.
There was no playing happening there.
Yeah, they never really made good on that promise, even on the PS4.
No. So I stuck with it the next day. I left my Xbox on. It messed up somehow.
Yeah.
It cancelled the installation. I don't know what happened, but then it started afresh again.
Oh, great.
I got up to, I think, about 40%. And I'm like, I'm done with this game. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to return to the library. I don't have the time to spend waiting for the thing to install.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered about playing it for it to have to wait another day. I do find it's slow. Xbox One's quite slow to install stuff.
Do you not find yourself, though, while playing Gears of War, fantasizing that Marcus Phoenix is saying Tom instead of Dom at you, and then you get a more immersive gameplay experience because of it?
Yeah, you've got a point there. Yeah. Probably would be more immersive. I haven't properly played Gears of War since Gears of War 1, to be honest.
Okay.
I've played the Horde modes on the sequels. Gears of War 3 Horde I played quite often, actually. I really like that. And that's really the mode we wanted to play. It'd be nice if you could install part of the game and maybe just play one of the multiplayer options where you're waiting for the campaign to install. But
that would be clever, wouldn't it?
It doesn't seem to work like that. So, yeah, Gears of War 4, I'm not going to run out and buy it.
No.
I'm sorry about that, but until I see it do it cheap, I'm not going to be bothered.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, you got it free from the library and you weren't even that bothered.
Got it free from the library, but, you know, I want to do other things. I don't know, wait for Gears of War to install.
Ain't nobody got time for that, Tom.
No. I played a bit of Resident Evil installed really quickly.
Yeah.
I borrowed that as well from the library. Resident Evil 7. Haven't had time to play it yet, but, you know, I have a real fear of Resident Evil 7, having played the demo on the PS4, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle this. Rather than selling the game to me, it's sort of like, hang on, I don't think I want to play this.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that I feel like that about any video game.
First-person horror games do that to me. Condemned was a game I had to play with very bated breath.
Yeah.
Outlast, I was like, no, fuck this, can't do it.
Yeah. I haven't hardly played any of the game. I played about 10 minutes Resident Evil 7, but it starts off in the day. I think this is a very conscious idea, wasn't it? That you can be scared in the daylight.
Yes.
And it is a little bit creepy when you go to this abandoned house, you know, and there's weird animal carcasses in the garden.
Yeah.
arranging this formation, and you crawl under this fence, and the tension starts building up from the very beginning, and I think it's going to be a very good game, but whether or not I can handle it,
I'm the cojones.
Yeah, have I got the balls for Resident Evil 7? I'd like to think so.
That should be a marketing campaign.
I couldn't. Wouldn't be very politically correct now, would it? Because they'd say that, are you being sexist? Can ladies not play Resident Evil 7?
Fair point. Well? Do you have the... God, there's a word that describes do you have the courage to play Resident Evil? It doesn't sound as good, though, does it? It doesn't give you that.
Will thou get the girl? That was the Legend of Zelda. Campaign, which could apply here because you are searching for your fiancée who's gone missing.
Oh, how very Silent Hill of them.
3 years she's been away for. You suddenly get this video message that she's alive, and you find yourself in Louisiana going to this
sounds a lot like
estate.
Silent Hill.
And there's some freaky stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't tell you much more because I haven't had a chance to play it.
You turned it on, your girlfriend called, you turned it off.
That's
how it goes sometimes.
That's true. I don't know. I'm going away now for a few weeks after this week.
Yes. Which
will also be an announcement now that there won't be any Tom Matt for a while.
No.
Which is a shame. Sorry, guys.
Well,
but also Matt is going away too.
I am. I'm heading to Japan, so that's going to be fun.
Amazing. So I won't have time to play Resident Evil 7 really, so I'll have to return it unless I can find some time this week. But still unsure of it really if I'm going to like it, and it's still quite an expensive game to take a punt on.
Yeah, it is.
If it was cheap enough, I might just pick it up. But
come on, give it a few more weeks. I think it'll drop in price. I think summer sales and stuff will happen, and Resi will go down. It sold a large amount of copies, however, nowhere near as much as even 6 did. From what I heard.
6?
Well, I mean, 6, I think, for a lot of people was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of, no, we don't want another bad Resident Evil experience.
No, I didn't move too far away from what it initially was.
Yeah, and I mean, I like 5, but a lot of people don't.
I like 5 as well. I mean, I like elements of 6 too. I don't think 6 is as terrible as people will say it is, but when you get a Resident Evil game, you expect a particular experience, and it was only that in part.
Yeah. The Leon campaign.
As everyone says, the Leon campaign. When you get to Chris, it's third-person action game.
Yeah.
It is got more in line with Gears of War than it does a Resident Evil.
Well, I mean, that's more in the aesthetic of Resident Evil 5, right? So it makes sense for me that they carry on
that Chris would have that kind of gameplay mode. And I guess in trying to appeal to every demographic, that it kind of lost some of its Resident Evil-iness.
Mm-hmm.
Which they've certainly seemed to have recaptured in the latest game.
Yeah.
From what I hear, I mean, as I say, not had much time with it yet.
Yes. Well, that's a shame. I had a conversation in the coffee queue the other morning, actually, about how much of a ridiculous name Resident Evil was, and one of our colleagues was just like, he goes, it must surely be one of those cases of westernized names just being nonsensical from Japanese. And I was just like, no, because in Japan it's called Biohazard, which makes perfect sense. I don't know why they didn't just call it Biohazard, to be honest with you, but there we go.
But it's got a ring to it. Or maybe that's just because we got it shoved down our throats for so many years. But I was thinking today about the Evil Within.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the idea of calling it the Evil Within was trying and grasp those Resident Evil crowd. We stick evil in the title, but maybe people will take this easier.
I mean, it's a zombie game. It's got some connotations. Why not? It's got some lineage as well, right?
Shinji Mikami, is it?
Yeah.
The Resident Evil dude.
Yeah.
I think he directed 4.
Yeah.
Was responsible for Evil Within. And that's a great game from what I played of it.
Yeah. I think you're in the minority there. I don't think that game was pretty well received. I never played it.
I think
just watched you play a bit
the people who played Evil Within actually rather liked it.
I just think it was supposed to be really hard, right? It was one of the main issues with it.
It was challenging, but it wasn't super hard what I played of it.
Was that one of the games that kind of came out in that cross-gen gap?
It was.
Evil Within on the PS4?
I have it on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Evil Within. But yeah, you find copies of that for next to nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because Shinji Mikami did gone blank now. A game we both love, along with Suda 51.
Oh, Shadows of the Damned.
Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah.
So I feel kind of bad for him because he's put all the effort into these great games, but maybe they haven't garnered as much praise as they quite deserve, actually.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Because we are big fans of Shouts the Damned here on the podcast.
I should probably pick up The Evil Within. I'll just touch on it briefly because it doesn't really matter, and we've talked about it in length before because you bought and played it, which is I picked up a copy of Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PS2.
Yeah.
Quite a late PS2 title, one I've never actually seen in the flesh.
No, you originally released for the Wii U. Sorry,
For
the
the
Wii,
Wii.
not even the Wii U.
Yeah.
Apologies. It also got a PS2 and PSP port. Is that correct? Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot that this was even a thing, that this was on PS2.
Do you want to know who it's developed by?
Who?
Climax.
Really?
Climax, who did Speed Kings. Climax, who did Ghost Rider on the PS2 as well.
Oh, interesting. Do they also...
British studio.
They also did Silent Hill Origins, right?
I think so. Yeah, they did the latest Silent Hill games. I think they're based in Portsmouth.
Yeah,
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Silent Hill Origins is a game that's now on my want list because I thought I had it, and then I put that on the shelf going like, oh, I got all the Silent Hill games.
Ooh.
I was like, oh, no, shit, I don't actually have Origins. So I have to try and track down a copy of that.
Was Origins on PS2 and PSP?
Origins was on PS2 and PSP, yes. Yeah. One of those games that I saw multiple times when we were going into GameStop and getting those 5 for 100 krona games. And then, alas,
those were the days.
I didn't pick it up. So, there you go. What can I say more than that? But some games I have actually been playing this week before we talk about more pickups and stuff. I played a game that actually kind of came as a bit of a surprise. I played 2. In my comfortable chair, Tom, I got my Nintendo Switch out and I was like, this is a chair for playing Switch in. I'm going to switch it up, recline and enjoy. And I went on to the Nintendo Wii shop because I had heard that Tumbleseed had come out, which is the new game.
I know a little about this.
IAO? Is that how you say the studio's name?
I don't know
people
the
who
studio.
made Threes and Ridiculous Fishing.
Oh, you love those
Two
games.
of my favourite games. And so I was like, fuck yeah, I'll play some Tumbleseed. This looks really interesting. Can't say I'm a fan. Much like Ridiculous Fishing in 3, the visual aesthetic of the game is absolutely amazing. The sense of tone and humour remind me very much of a Media Molecule title, especially Tearaway. It's kind of got those same sensibilities to it. It's got some nice mechanical things. I mean, essentially, for those of you who don't know, the idea is you are a ball and you use the left and right analog stick to control this little seed that's rolling around, and you try and steer it through a labyrinth, like a wooden labyrinth style puzzle thing.
Aren't the seeds on a plank, and you are moving the plank?
You are
rolling
using the left. You were using the left and right analog stick to lower and raise this plank at one end.
Yeah, I can't think what else to call it other than plank.
Well, yeah, it's a bar.
It's a bar.
There's a bar there
across the screen.
Your seed takes up a small space on this bar, and you can like lift the left. Will then tip your seed to the right and go up and down.
You have to negotiate these areas by tipping the.
You
bar.
do. However, the game just kind of throws you into it and says, "Here you go," and it's a roguelike. So it's ridiculously fucking hard.
Yeah, I've heard it's hard.
I got about halfway up the mountain after about 2 hours of playing it because the goal is for you to reach the top of the mountain. And then I died, and I was like, oh, well, it'll be like Spelunky. The game will be fine. Like, I reached 2 towns along the way. I guess I'll start in the second town. Nah, back down the mountain you go.
Yeah.
Try it all over again. I was like, this game doesn't really
Perseverance, so Matthew. You are a master of perseverance.
I am a master
You're
of
a Mega
perseverance,
Man fan.
but I don't necessarily know if the game's that fun for me to persevere with.
Yeah.
Like Spelunky and Rogue Legacy and all of these other roguelikes that came out in the last couple of years, and hoping that Below will be of the same caliber, made me want to play again constantly. There is something about the dual control of those analog sticks that does not lend itself to the precision that game needs.
Yeah. Imagine playing it cooperatively.
The slightest tilt of the left stick will send you flying to the right and into the holes that are around that will catch your seed. You have 3 hearts. You fuck up 3 times in this entire run, you're dead.
I think you can get more hearts along the way, perhaps.
Right. So you have the ability. You start as the flag seed, which is the little purple seed you will have seen from the trailers, like a Merlot colour, if you will. Seems we're using terms like trapeze.
Fancy.
I'm going to go with some design language.
Merlot.
Merlot. This kind of purpley red colour berry, and essentially what that does is there are little diamonds in the ground with eyes on them that match the eye on your character. And you roll over those, and if you've collected a crystal shard, which are either scattered around the level or from killing something, you can plant a seed, and then when you lose a heart, you will go back to wherever that seed was. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you press the A button, you have a variety of other seeds that you can use on your run. So you have a thorn seed, which essentially means that when you pick up a crystal and run over these points, you'll pick up a spear that will rotate around you, so if enemies come at you, you can kind of hit them with this spear, but only if they hit the bit it's rotating, so you can't even really control it and play defensively, which is a bit of a shame. You have a heart spear, which essentially means you need to spend 4 shards to restore 1 heart, which is very tricky to do, because it's a roguelike and these levels are randomly generated. You don't necessarily know when you're going to get the crystals to make these plants, and obviously if you don't plant flag seed, which is the Merlot coloured one, you will start at the start regardless, so you'll waste the heart you've gathered by not doing it. So there's a risk reward thing to it that I don't necessarily think is balanced, because like I said, you can plant 1 flagpole for 1, you can have 1 spear for 1. 4 for 1 heart for me seems an incredibly big ask of the player. I understand if you did it for 1, it would make the game incredibly easy. But like 2 even is enough of a sacrifice in a run for me. Because like if you fuck up anyways and you're going to die.
There seems to be this mentality within games players now where if it's not hard enough, it's not worthy enough. But you have to remember that games are entertainment. And, you know, I like a challenge, but also I like to just have fun. And if there was maybe another difficulty level you could pick, you know, that gave you a little bit more, why not? Why not offer that to the player? And then those who want more of a challenge, it sounds like an extreme challenge, then why not, you know, ramp up the difficulty level?
I think there's such a large ask of the player to play this game for an extended period of time to get used to how sensitive the sticks are.
It's going to turn people off.
Then a lot of people are just going to go, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I'm at, to be honest with you. And I paid 100 krona for it. It's a £10 game. It's not the cheapest of experiences. But I guess also at the same time, like I got halfway up the mountain in about 5 minutes. So maybe that is where the replayability is in the game, because otherwise it would just be a 10-minute long experience.
Yeah. That doesn't sound good, does it?
No, to be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed. Like, I've played Ridiculous Fishing and Threes to death. Like, I love both of those games.
It sounds to me like very much like an app game, you know, if it's short.
And I mean, I think
to make
it is
up
on
for
iOS.
Its length,
they've just increased the difficulty. Yeah. That's a massive shame for me, because it's got so much more going for it in terms of its personality and the tone of voice.
Why not seeing release this for a console? You have the ability to do more with the game and to perhaps make it longer.
Yeah.
A game I played recently, Downhill Domination, right? That game has so many blinking tracks in it, and they're long as well. I mentioned it on Paris Pickups, if you check that on blastprocess.com.
Yeah.
But some races last up 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just in awe of how long the levels were. It was like, wow. And, you know, the amount of detail and design that's gone into each one of them. It was really fantastic, and that's what you expect from a console game. You expect a lot of... But I guess, you know, you could argue it's an indie game. It was released at a budget price, you know.
Hey, man. The other game I played...
But also, it wasn't a game using 3D, you know, massive 3D environments, was it? It's two-dimensional.
It is two-dimensional,
isn't it? Not to say that's so much easier, but, you know, in a way, you know, you'd expect a little bit more.
I played a game called Kamiko. Alternatively, when I got out of this, I was like, okay, well, fuck this. I'm going to play something else. I'll have a look what's on the store. I put 200 kroner on there. I was going to maybe buy Snake Pass, and I decided on Tumbleseed, which I regret slightly. And then I was like, oh, well, okay, what else can I buy within this range? Like, maybe I'll pick up Metal Slug and something else. And I looked, and for 37 krona, I believe it's £4 on the British Switch and 500 yen on the Japanese store, $4 maybe. It was a game called Kamiko. And it's made by...
I've heard the word Kamiko before.
A small Japanese studio called Skipmore, who made a series called Faerun on the 3DS eShop, which is an RPG series heavily inspired by Zelda. And there has been a lot of talk about Faerun in the circles of Twitter that I follow, because they're all JRPG obsessed for the most part.
Yeah.
Except Ali, who thinks it's a dirty, dirty word, the Retro Hunter. there's this idea that Skipmore is looking at Legend of Zelda. They clearly love that game, and while Faerun seems to have been a top-down action RPG in the loosest possible sense of the word RPG, that was a very slowed down, very methodical, very true to the original Legend of Zelda. Clearly, between releasing those games on the 3DS like 5 years ago or whenever the hell it was, they've played Hyper Light Drifter and gone, wow, Zelda can be fast and amazing. So they made this game called Kamiko, and essentially what it is it's based on like Shinto mythology, which is the biggest religion in Japan next to Buddhism.
Yeah.
And you see those Shinto shrines, which are the archways that apparently even Miyamoto declares as the inspiration for the gates you fly through in Star Fox. So essentially what you do is you're tasked with getting rid of evil, and it's kind of got some Shinto mythology mixed in with it, but very, very loosely. It doesn't feel intrusive. You are one of 3 characters you can pick. There's one called Yamoto, who's got a sword, blue-haired lady. There's one called Yazumi, who's an archer, who's green. And there's one called Hiromi, who's like a combination of both. She throws out an orb, but then when the orb's coming back to her boomerang style, you can stab people with a sword. So you go around this level, because it is level-based. There are 4 levels in total with a boss battle at the end of each. And your goal is, there are multiple enemies, all very nice-looking sprites that come around, and they will attack you, and you kill them, and you get SP. So you have a little gauge under your health, which is building your magic up, which you can either use for charge attacks, sword spinning, or sending a barrage of arrows all over the screen, or sending your little spinny thing out and killing everything and clearing, essentially. But you also need it to do the game's puzzles. You need 100 SP for the shrines, which are the main goal, is to unlock the 4 of those. And then there's little treasure chests around, which there offer you things like keys that you need to unlock doors to get to these shrines, orbs that you slot into things to open doorways as well, which act as keys, and open warps, as well as like health and this SP bar upgrade. You get this by killing monsters. One monster will give you 1. However, you will go into lots of rooms where there are like 10, 15 things, and you can quickly kill them because there's a combo meter, and that acts as a multiplier. So if you hit like 17, you get 170. It keeps stacking and going up. So you can fill it pretty quickly. It doesn't feel like a hindrance. It's very, very interesting mechanic that I've not really seen in anything before. This idea of paying your magic that you're gaining from killing enemies to unlock certain bits of the puzzle things. Game's pretty short. It's only an hour in length. There's only 4 levels. Some of the music and some of the boss art for the sprites is some of the best I've heard in an indie title. And I played through it the 3 times to just see if anything happened at the end, and there was no real reward for you playing it in different styles other than you experiencing the games in a different way. Yamoto, the sword woman, and Yazumi, the archer lady, Hiromi, the combo lady, were clearly the best. Yazumi, the archer, did my head in. The game is clearly not built for you to shoot ranged weapons, because you can only fire at, regular directions, up, down, left, right. You can't hit off at an angle. If you fire multiple arrows, they will start branching out and kind of hitting in diagonals, but it's not effective enough. Mid boss fights that were very easy, as the other 2 were a bit of a pain in the ass. Difficulty level is fair. Like, I'd never at one point was oh shit, I died unfairly there. There's a thing where if you pick up a key or an orb, you have to you're restricted in your speed. The game is very fast. 5 of the switch buttons are mapped to running. So whichever button you're pressing, pretty much you're sprinting around and slashing as fast as you can. Picking up a key will slow you right down to a walk, and you can't use your weapon. If you press any other button, say to draw your sword or to try and run, you'll drop whatever it is, and then you'll have to go back to the chest to get it. Which was slightly frustrating in the start, because I didn't necessarily know how the keys and stuff worked. I was like, why isn't it telling me any of this? But overall, man, for £4, for 3 hours a game, it's pretty solid.
I'm intrigued from what you've told me. I'd like to see it.
I'll let you play a little bit before you leave. But I mean, it's a really solid experience. And I mean, you look at that and go, wow, this game is incredible. Like, it's not necessarily doing something new like Tumbleseed is. But it's a much more enjoyable experience for £4 as opposed to a tenner.
It's not quite getting the same spotlight as Tumbleseed, because I've seen Tumbleseed around on the internet, but I've not heard of Kamiko.
Yeah, it was just a surprise release on eShop.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, Skipmore, pretty well regarded in this space, at least from Japanese indie developers, very small team.
Uh-huh.
But what they made is a really brilliant game. It's not deep by any necessary
you
means.
get what you
but
pay for in this case.
yeah, but I mean, for £4, like
it sounds like you get more than you pay for it.
I was gonna say, hey, it's the best £4 I've ever spent, and then I realised I spent £3 on Yakuza, so I can't really say that.
That's nice.
Yeah, but all in all, that's pretty
a
much
recommendation.
what I've been playing. But if you've got a Switch, pick up Kamiko.
Yeah, if you've got some spare pennies in your pocket and you're thinking, what can I buy on my Switch? Maybe that's one.
Hey man, for £4, you're not going to find a better experience on that console. Well, I mean, for an extra £1, you could pick up Metal Slug, but
are you played Metal Slug before?
Very
Probably.
Unfair to compare the two apples and oranges.
Yeah, Metal Slug is a game. I don't think if I had a Switch, I'd pick up Metal Slug on it. If you've got Metal Slug Anthology, for example, you might be okay on the PSP or the Wii, PS2. It was on.
I do like me some Metal Slug, but I do own it on about 12 consoles, including that terrifying 911 on the Game Boy.
I am guilty of owning games on several systems.
You, Tom? Surely not.
Lemmings, Worms, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, the list goes on.
I don't think you need to repeat the list.
No,
Tom.
I don't.
Everyone
I don't
knows
need to. Yeah. A game series I am really into collecting at the moment would be Need for Speed.
Yes.
I've now started my Need for Speed on every system.
What's your most wanted Need for Speed game, Tom?
Actually, I have a lot already. There's not any I'm dying to play. I'm actually having a real good time with Need for Speed Undercover, which is actually one of the least well-received Need for Speed games in the series.
Yeah.
Which surprised me, because I had no idea of the game's reputation before going into it. And I'm actually playing it on the Wii, which, you probably think that would be the worst version of Need for Speed Undercover. And Undercover is an open-world racing game similar to something like Burnout Paradise or Midnight Club. And it came out at the same time as the latest Midnight Club and Paradise. And I think when reviewers were comparing the games, they could see that maybe it wasn't quite as up to speed as the other two titles that were released recently. But, looking at it now, and I think it cost me 30 kroner.
Yeah.
Second hand.
Did you pick it up in Blues City?
I did. I didn't know really exactly what to expect with the game, and initial impressions of it weren't so good because it looks a bit ropey. I kind of got flashbacks to Amazing Spider-Man on the Wii. I thought, is this a port of a 3DS game? But I guess what that is because the game is open world, it's rendering everything at the same time. It's going to have to cut some corners to be playable on the Wii.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then you do think of something like San Andreas on the PS2, but it wasn't the most graphically astounding game either. San Andreas, it just, had that nice PS2 blurry filter on it, so it probably looked a bit better. But what's really kept me playing Undercover is its amazing handling and gameplay. Yeah. I mean, this is everything that Most Wanted is on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Everything all these open world driving games have been on a Wii, which I don't think there's so much like that on the Wii. I've got Driver Parallel Lines, which is GTA type game, which is open world city, and graphically the two are comparable. Actually, but I keep playing this game because it's so damn playable. The handling's so good. The races are fun. You can upgrade your car. As you'd expect, everything you'd expect from one of these street racing games.
Yeah.
With the slight unique slant that it's got FMV in it every so often.
Ooh la la.
Not very well integrated to what's actually going on, but you are an undercover police officer, and you're asked to infiltrate a street gang of racers, similar to a film I only just saw recently. Fast and the Furious. Believe it or not, I saw it for the first time this Friday night.
What do you think?
I liked it. It's a great film. It's very entertaining, very fun.
Oh,
this is the original I've seen.
I've got them all.
Yeah, so have I. But well, actually, no, I've got the first 6.
Yeah, I haven't got number 7 either.
No, I ain't got that.
It's not worth it.
First one, really good, and this game kind of has a similar storyline.
Yeah.
But that actually is something that keeps you playing, I feel, that you get the next cutscene. You don't know when the next cutscene is going to take place, and they're always only very short cutscenes, but it gives the game some sort of narrative, at least. A lot of these games, you're just driving around cities, you're just doing races, whereas this, there feels like a reason why you're doing it, at least.
Yeah.
Cop chases are great fun. There's things like safe spots where once you've lost the police, if you found one of these spots, you can get down your wanted level quicker. I like that idea. There's interactive environments. If you hit certain things, it can cause an obstacle for the police as well. You do a lot of the police chasing stuff.
Okay.
Being chased by the police, considering you're an undercover police officer.
Yes.
It's kind of to bring up your reputation with the street races, and eventually you win more races and you escape the police more, then you get opportunities to do more, to infiltrate the group.
Yeah.
You can upgrade your car, which I love that. I have sticking the decals on there, and everything is really straightforward. Menus are great, load times are quick. The game just does everything you'd want it to do. It's not the greatest looking thing ever. Cars look quite nice.
Yeah.
But the gameplay is the most solid, enjoyable, open-world driving experience I've had in a long time. So I went online and thought, what's the perception of this game?
Yeah.
And as I said before, the perception was it's not as good as its other competitors.
Yeah.
And they also criticised the game for being too easy.
Okay.
And that's like, that hit me hard. It's like, I'm really enjoying this game. Is it because I'm crap at games then? I like it, But what's nice is it's a good challenge. It's not a stupidly difficult challenge.
Yeah.
But it's challenging enough. And a lot of the, as you progress through the game, you've got to do your car up. You're not going to be able to win the races if you don't do a little bit of something to increase your horsepower, top speed and everything. So there's an incentive to come in, spend your cash on upgrades for your cars. I'd say it's a solid game, and I don't think anything quite like it on the Wii, unless other Need for Speed games like Carbon or Nitro have similar. I don't think Nitro does. I think that's more of a straightforward Need for Speed game, which is exclusive to Wii and DS. But I think Carbon was also on the Wii.
Yeah.
What else was on the Wii?
I don't know, man. Like I'm not that versed on Need for Speed.
Pro Street was on the Wii, I think, but Pro Street is more track racing, I think, than it is street racing.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend Undercover if you like things like Need for Speed Most Wanted, the most recent one, and also Burnout Paradise. If you want something like that on your Wii, if you can get over the graphics not looking as good as other games, then I think there's an awful lot to enjoy.
So Need for Speed The Run, Need for Speed Hot
The
Pursuit,
Run is on there, yep.
Nitro, Undercover, Pro Street, and Carbon.
Yeah. So The Run had a narrative as well, but its Wii version is different than the other versions, I think.
Okay.
I don't know how much it differs. Again, developed by Black Box, which, they know how to make a racing game.
Yeah.
They're good. I don't know how much of the Need for Speed series you've played, Matt.
Very little. Undercover 2 on the PS2. A little bit of Most Wanted on the 360 because it was a launch title and it was the only one my video rental place had.
Which is a very well-regarded game.
A very, very good game, actually. I quite like it.
I think there are some similarities between Most Wanted and Undercover. Black Box had said after Pro Street, which wasn't received so well and they weren't so happy with that, Undercover was going to be their return to more Most Wanted type gameplay. Did
you ever play the Need for Speed on the PS4 with the FMVs?
No, I never played that one because it was online only.
Ah.
And I thought, is this really worth it for a game that requires you to be online all the time?
I'm very curious about that game.
Dependent upon that there are other people playing it. Because I imagine right now there's not that many.
Yeah.
There's a new Need for Speed game scheduled for this year, this Christmas.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether or not to wait. Need for Speed Rivals, though, was developed by Ghost, I think they're called.
Okay.
And they are I think there's some ex-Black Box employees in there. And that was a good game, Rivals, on the PS4 and Xbox One, I think. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm tempted to wait for the next Need for Speed game, although I am intrigued by the FMV.
Same here.
I mean, if you want an FMV Need for Speed game, then why not try Undercover?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it does have it, not in spades, but
I'm sure
nice.
Most Wanted did. I can't remember if it was cutscenes or FMV.
It's been so long since I've played the original Most Wanted that I can't remember now.
Me neither. I'm sure that's why I liked it, actually.
Yeah. But, say what you like about the series. It's been fairly solid over the years.
Yeah.
Need for Speed.
Oh, it totally does have FMV.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
How was that? It looked good from the trailer.
Not bad.
Yeah.
As someone who likes Fast and Furious and has no interest in cars, figure that one out. Yeah, it's a pretty good film. Like, doesn't really break the formula of the Fast and the Furious. And
the guy's come out of prison in this case, isn't he?
Yeah,
played by Aaron Paul, is it?
Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
And I've never seen him in anything but Breaking Bad. So
yeah, he's been in a few things now. He voice acts one of the main characters in Kingsglaive, the Final Fantasy 15 movie as well.
Does he say yo?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, good.
To be honest with you, I didn't even realise it was him because he doesn't have that thick accent. So versatile voice actor.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all right.
Good film.
It's not a bad film.
I'd like.
They're going to make a second, apparently.
Yeah, I heard that. It looks pretty fun, and I think you can definitely get your critical hat on and say, "Oh, maybe there's not got much substance to it," but it looks like an entertaining ride.
Yeah, it's all right.
To me.
I mean,
it actually looks like it pays attention to its
source material.
Because you see those races in there's a lot of Need for Speed is in the countryside, you know, going through forests or green areas, and you see some of that in the trailer. I thought so.
Yeah, and I mean, from my playing Need for Speed games, the one or two I've played, the level of story there is perhaps on par with what you'd see in the video game, for better or worse, in a film.
I think what's been great about Need for Speed over the years is from the off, it had that connection through FMV.
Yeah.
The guy would talk to you after the races. I played it first on the 3DO, and that had cutscenes.
Yeah.
Similar way to something like Road Rash on the Saturn has cutscenes.
Yeah.
I love that. I rather than taking me out of it actually is good to have, I think.
Yeah. I like
actually
cutscenes.
More of it.
I still need to play
FMV
Roundabout.
cutscenes.
Still need to play Roundabout.
Oh. Roundabout.
I know. Look at you. You almost choked on your water. So yeah, I all I really have other than say this is that I went to Blue City as well. I know you've made some purchases which are on your recent Paris pickups, so I'll make you repeat the list of what you picked up.
What first?
Other than Need for Speed. Yeah, why not? Because then people can go watch the video and get more content.
NBA Street 3.
Yeah.
Not NBA Street. NFL. American football. Road Rage 3, which is a racing game published by Atlas and Phoenix Games.
Yeah.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 on PS2.
Yeah.
Beautiful graphics in that game. Very playable. No, that's not right. Ghost Rider, developed by Climax for PS2, a God of War type game with motorcycle sections, but terrible save system. So if you forget to save, you might not see those when you die. Not got Nicolas Cage in it, despite having the movie license.
Yeah,
you don't have Nicolas Cage's
couldn't afford the Cage
likeness in that game. Is that it? Need Speed Undercover, as I mentioned. There were 5 games I bought.
Yeah, I think that was it. Need for Speed, Ghost Rider, NFL,
Road Rage, NFL,
Road
and
Rage.
Another Need for Speed.
Yeah, the Need for Speed.
Yeah, there you go. Now, what did you get, Matthew?
I walked in there and I was just like, ooh, they have PS2 games again, because as me and Tom talked about last week on the podcast, we were lamenting the death
they were never
going to
get PS2 back in.
Yeah, but lo and behold, they got in some fresh titles. There's actually some pretty fucking good games. Like
someone's game collection, I imagine.
There was some Sly Cooper in there. There was some Ratchet.
Oh, did you just pick them up?
No, I didn't. Were
didn't?
Were they not there when you?
I think I probably blanked them because I have them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What I got, however, Tom, was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is a game I've been after for a fucking very long time.
You found it.
Jurassic Park, Operation Genesis.
Oh, the rare game.
Yes. All-Star Fighter.
Oh gosh, I've got
and
that.
an English copy of Atlantis 3, so I can finally fucking play that game
3.
that I bought in a German. And I also picked up Alpha Protocol on the PS3 because we talked about it briefly a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, I would love to play that game by Obsidian. That's like a minority port RPG. That sounds pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna get into those.
Operation Genesis, so it goes for a lot.
It
nowadays.
does.
I remember even when I worked at Game. That game was quite expensive.
I almost picked it up a couple of weeks ago when we were in Horsens, and it was closer to 100 krona, and I was just like, fucking hell, I'll get that as part of this. I was literally just going to buy Marvel vs. Capcom, and I was like, oh, shit, they got that. And I was like, oh, great, cool. They've got, they had Beyond Good and Evil there as well. And I was like, oh, great.
And
I was like, actually, I think I have Beyond Good and Evil. At least I have it on the 360 anyway, so I was like, I don't necessarily need another copy of this.
No, I mean, I don't need it. I got it on the GameCube.
Yeah, so I got my bits, got out of there,
Good.
and text you on the way, going like,
yeah,
oh my God,
thank
I
you.
got PS2
Yeah,
news,
I'll pop by and.
So keep an eye out on that. See if there's any new materializing PS2 games. There was definitely a lot more Wii stuff there.
Yeah. I say Need for Speed wasn't there before.
Yeah.
They had Raw SmackDown versus Raw 2008.
Yeah.
I thought, I've got 2009. I don't
Yeah.
know if I need that one.
I actually saw some pretty rare PS2 games yesterday when I picked up Shattered Memories. They had a blue box copy of Ico, which is not something you see every day, which is the very, very, very late repressing of that game.
Okay.
The limited edition, as it is, with the box and the art cards, is the first release.
Rick
Then
is
they
on, I know.
reprinted that version, which is actually more of the limited edition out there than the regular retail. And then very, very late in the PS2's lifespan, so much so that it's got the case without the memory card slot.
Yeah.
They reprinted Ico on blue, which is actually the rarer and more
I remember
pricey
seeing that at
copy
the
of it.
time, but I've got Ico. I don't
Yeah.
need to get it again. I remember that came out. It was
Yeah.
re-released in the blue box.
I did not pick it up because it was like 200 krona, as was thing. But they
Wow.
also had Ultimate Ninja 5, which I've never seen.
Naruto?
Yeah.
Oh. 5, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of
They-
Ultimate
they
Ninjas on PS2.
They got a few out on that
didn't they?
PS2. Yeah, so I saw that, and it was Orochimaru, Sasuke, and Naruto on the cover. I think it was perhaps the first of the Shippuden.
Yeah,
themed
Shippuden.
games
It
on the PS2.
probably would be if they've got that far
Yeah.
by 5, because
Yeah, Sasuke's got rid of his costume. He's got the Orochimaru get up
I
on.
think the third Clash of Ninja game on the Wii was Shippuden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I wanted to actually go into Epic Panda, which is a shop in Aarhus, and check for Way of the Samurai, the first one. But I didn't end up doing it in the end. I checked there to see if they had that on a copy of Yakuza 4, just in case my slightly scratched looking copy for the PS3 gives me any jip. But they didn't, unfortunately, so I was like, oh well, I'll look another time. I picked up Shattered Memories. I didn't plan on spending anything on games that day anyway, so I was like, okay, well, that'll do me for now. Because as I've said, I'm buggering off to Japan.
You
I
are.
imagine I will probably spend some money on some Japanese Game Boy games and the like. Yeah. Where about you, Tom? Are you departing?
I'm coming back to the UK for a little while because I've got so much things on. There's a wedding, there's several concerts. I'm going to see Spamalot.
You're going to see Spamalot.
Oh, that'd be nice. My friend Adam is performing in it. He's
Oh,
playing
cool.
Lancelot.
Oh, interesting.
So I've never seen Spamalot. So I know Holy Grail, but I've never seen how they translated that into a
I
musical.
have only seen this. I've only heard the soundtrack because it came out when I was still doing acting and things.
Yeah.
Some of the songs sound alright.
I imagine it's going to be fun. Adam was saying he has to do dancing, which he wasn't so keen
Yes.
on. But yeah, there's lots of stuff going on when I'm back in the UK, and also be doing some content for blastprocess.com.
Yep.
I now have access to a video capture device, so I'm going to say it right now. Look forward to Paris Pickups videos with gameplay footage in.
Ooh la la.
I assume I'll have no problems doing it from the off. I think I've got all the equipment. I've got the extra adapter to let me plug in the red, yellow and white.
Yeah,
connection.
then you're all sorted.
Yeah.
You just need the Elgato software to capture, and then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
Yeah.
You're away.
So that's I think going to improve those videos substantially.
Yeah.
Allow you guys to actually have a look at some of these games I'm talking about on those episodes, and the same games we'll also discuss on the podcast. So it's a good place to go to see some
a full
footage.
360 experience of those games that Tom is
Or
buying.
PS3.
I want to stab you with a pen.
Oh.
Let's call this podcast then, unless you have anything
I'll
more to
mention
say.
one more thing. I picked up something recently. I bought a what's it called? Retro Duo console.
Oh, really? You picked up a
Yes.
Retro Duo?
I did because I saw the Superboy on sale on Zavvi, and I thought, oh, that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Handheld Super Nintendo. Then I looked in Superboy, and I thought, nah, this isn't so good because
No.
it stretches the aspect
It
ratio.
does.
And yeah, it didn't. And then I found the Retro Duo,
Yes.
which also enables you to play NES through an adapter. So you get this massive tower sticking out the back of the thing, but still you can do it. And if you've got the Mega Drive adapter, you can plug those games into
Yes.
it. Battery life of 8 hours, bright screen, sound not so good through speakers. Put in headphones, it's okay. Plug it into your television. I thought this was a great way for me to play Super Nintendo games in Denmark, because I don't have my Super Nintendo here.
Yes.
Or NES. I thought this was definitely going to improve my chances of playing some games, and it's multi-region as far as I can tell. It'll play any cart, which is something I have a problem with my Super Nintendo at the moment. It's been a bit temperamental. A
little bit.
So I thought, this is great. Also, like a blinking switch, isn't it? I can stick it on a stand and plug in controllers to it and play it on the go. And especially with its reasonable battery life and ability to add more battery life to it, I thought this was something I couldn't not get.
Yes.
But I went online. I couldn't find one anywhere.
I actually saw one in Aarhus yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah? I picked up the version 2 in black.
Yes.
I think you can also get it in
black
red.
And red, right?
I don't know, it's just black, I think.
I think the controllers are black and red.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you got any controllers with
I think you do. I think you get Super Nintendo-esque controllers.
Okay. But then on eBay I found one being sold by GameSeek.
Yeah.
And it said one left.
Okay.
And considering I hadn't found anything else on the internet, I thought, well, that was my incentive to buy it.
Yes.
It cost me $85.
I think that's pretty much what they're going for.
Yeah, which, it's a lot of money to spend, but under the retail value of a Superboy, for instance.
Yes.
Which was $95 on Zavvi. So I thought, what the heck, I'll go for it, especially since there's one left. Bought it. I noticed my watch list on eBay still had it on. I was like, what? Said the seller had changed a listing. I think there's some underhanded thing going on there where they're just keeping it at 1 so people will buy it. Do you know what I mean? Because if you can see there's only one available, then it gives you an extra incentive to buy it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think
that's a bit of a shitty practice.
Seems a bit sneaky to me. I feel a little bit cheated. But saying that, I am reasonably happy with the price. I think for the ability that this gives me, it is worth it.
What's it called again?
A Retro Duo Portable, I think. Because Retro Duo, I think, was the name of their standard home emulation type console. And this is their portable variation.
No, you can't buy from Boz. I was just checking if it was on the Danish retailer.
Yeah, I heard it's comfortable, got a little bit of weight to it, enough. And so I'll tell you all about that when I've had a go.
Yeah.
May feature it on the Paris Pickups while I'm back in the UK.
You could too, because you can take it with you.
I may give it its own video even. We'll wait and see, but we expect to hear more about that in the future.
I'm very much contemplating picking up a Retro Freak at the moment, which is...
Oh, that's the thing that plays everything. HDMI.
Unlike
the Retro Duo, it only has composite.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just because it was Hyperkin's thing before they made the...
It wasn't Hyperkin, actually.
Isn't it Hyperkin?
It was Retro Bit, who also made the NES adapter for the Super Nintendo that I've got,
But they... The Retro Freak plays everything. It plays Game Gear games. It plays TurboGrafx and PC Engine and everything else.
It's convenient, isn't it, to have one of these systems, which isn't necessarily an official system, but it does the job, especially when you connect to HD as well.
See, the thing is for me, right? Like, obviously, I haven't got a CRT in this apartment anymore because I haven't got space for one. That means that a lot of my consoles, my Master System, my Mega Drive... even my Super Nintendo and SNES. Well, I've got Super Nintendo set up, but I very rarely play them because I'm playing them through my TV. And short of getting an upscaler, these things are pretty much just sat permanently in a drawer at the moment, except when I crack up my Famicom and put it up to the little black and white CRT I've got.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, well, maybe I should,
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Get one of these things and then declutter some of my consoles. I'll keep some of my boxed ones and the ones I like a Super Nintendo, but it's like, remember I got 3 Super Nintendos. I've got an American one, I've got a British one, and then I've got a backup PAL system just in case mine craps out. I'm just like, maybe I just get this thing. Maybe I keep one, sell off my superbly mint US one, which I've used about 3 times, and then just go for broke and just go, okay, cool. I don't need to have 30 million consoles. But this is buying into a larger thing that I'm thinking maybe I should start slimming down my games collection in general anyways. I've got like 300 PS2 games.
I officially reached 300 with these last 5 purchases
I haven't
made.
Put them into...
It's by far the console I have the most games for.
Yeah.
I think the second would be the Wii. maybe at 170
I mean,
odd.
obviously, we're not going near my Game Boy numbers here, especially if you count the whole family. I'm probably close to 1,000. Realize
when you've got 1,000 games with one system,
I realize how ridiculous a number that is. And I'm also just kind of, we bought this nice piece of furniture yesterday, and I'm just like, well, maybe it's better just to have a few nice things than a shitload.
But at least, as you said before, Game Boy games would take up a lot of space.
No, they don't. And my Game Boy games aren't going anywhere.
And that was your goal, to collect them all, wasn't it?
It was. Spurred on by you doubting me and going, I'm not going to fucking do this. You're going to give up in a week.
Well,
and I was like, go on, man.
Something you read a comic book a day or whatever it was.
Hey, man, I did that for 2 months, man. There are, if you search for...
I say comic book, you're more like reading graphic novels a day, wouldn't you? Yeah.
And reviewing them also.
Yeah, that was ambitious.
I did 60, man. I got a good fucking stretch into that. And then, I read 2 anthologies back to back, and that nearly killed me.
Well, when something starts to feel more like a chore and something you're doing for fun, it's...
Hey, man, I mean, to be honest with you, it probably gave me a very good grounding for doing actual reviews for Biographic. It definitely made me more confident in writing reviews, so I got some good out of it.
It served its purpose, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well, so it goes. Anyways, cool. So you're not here now for how many weeks?
I'm not here next week, the week after, and the week after that.
Jeez, you're away for 3. I'm away. I will be away for 2. So yeah, I guess this will be the last Tom and Matt attack for the month of May, almost. I think this will be a month off, which might be nice, because it means I'll play less games.
If you're dying for content, though, there will be stuff on blastprocess.com. I don't know if you'll be doing another bull graphic anytime.
I will. I've ramped up production again. To be honest with you, playing Out to Lunch, which I talked about on this podcast, kind of almost killed me. I really disliked playing that game, and it kind of made me look and go, well, do I really want to keep doing stuff like this?
Yeah.
So I think Biographic is definitely going to continue, as will all of the Game Boy stuff. It's just I will now stick to saying, okay, I'm going to do one of these every 2 weeks, and I'm also pretty much just going to play the stuff I want to play.
Yeah, and you've got 2 weeks in Japan.
I have got 2 weeks in Japan, so the Out to Lunch will go up probably next week. So if you're looking for something to watch on a Sunday where you usually listen to this podcast, go check that out, because it'll be up.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, we'll see what wonders I find in Japan. I may even do a Boyley's Bargains. To coin a Parry's Pickups thing for Blast Process, where I show what I bought in Japan. But who knows?
I'll make you a thumbnail.
Yay! I will be in those retro aesthetical graphics, and that will be delightful. Yeah, but until then, okay, have a fantastic time in gaming, everybody.
And enjoy the sun if you've got some sun at the moment.
Exactly.
It's lovely out. Maybe take your Nintendo Switch out if you can't pull
Nintendo
yourself away
Switch
from those video games.
into the wilderness, like that man did with his dog, and ignore the dog.
Or your retro duo.
Oh, your retro duo.
If you're so inclined.
Whichever one you want to. So I guess that's it. Anything that you will probably talk about on the next Tom and Matt attack? Just give people
I'm
brief
imagining
teaser.
I'm going to talk about a lot on the next Tom and Matt attack. I'll be playing quite a few games. Retro Duo, as we mentioned, will feature, I'm sure. I put so many games over the past few months that I honestly can't remember exactly now. So plenty of content coming your way when we return.
I will definitely talk about beating Persona 5, because I'm about 50 hours into that game now, and on just starting the 6th dungeon. So apparently I have another very small amount of time left with that game, so I'm going to get into that. I will obviously talk about Japan and retro game hunting in Japan. I will also probably have started Yakuza 2, hopefully, and I aim to have hopefully beaten some games on the Switch by then, because I'll have a few to play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sounds good. So something to look forward to.
Exactly.
I hope, yeah.
You'll still be manning the Twitter. I'll still be on Twitter at GameBoyle, posting images of Japan. Tom, I imagine you'd be doing some stuff from the UK on Tom Harry 11 and Blast Process.
There'll be updates for sure.
Yeah, so cool in the gang. We will see you. I guess our first podcast back will be to look at a calendar. No, next week will be after. Yeah, it will literally be June. So June 4th, there will be another Tom and Matt attack.
That sounds about right.
But until then, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy some retro game hunting. And more importantly, game on.
Game on.